I'm curious because I only know you from streaming. When did you start streaming and what were you doing before streaming? Because I don't know.
So I started streaming just about 3 years ago. So it's been a pretty quick.
It's only been 3 years. I feel like you've been on the platform forever.
I'm like one of the newer streamers, I guess, but I just got lucky, I guess, and did pretty well in a short time. Like, because all of my friends, right? Like, I think Leslie just hit her 8-year streaming thing. I think Lily hit like 10 or 11 years or something like that. I feel like everyone's been doing stuff for a long time. I've been streaming for like 3 years, basically right before COVID, basically.
What were you doing before streaming?
Before that, I was a software developer. So I
hell yeah.
pretty much had a regular job and everything.
Right.
I went back to school to try and get a better job because it was hard to get promoted.
Right.
In the tech industry, it was usually you never get promoted, you have to apply to a different company.
Right.
And if you apply with a better degree, you'll get a better job. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right. So did you grow up in LA or?
Grew up in LA, went to the Bay Area for school, worked in the Bay Area, and then went to school.
Right.
And then this is kind of weird, but I'm not good at like making friends kind of thing. So what I used to do was I would leave streams on because it felt like people were talking to me. It's really cringe. It's really cringe. But
man,
so
that's endearing.
Basically, I would just go to work or I would just go to school, come home, and just play League of Legends. That's what I did back then. And then I started streaming because I watched a lot of streams.
Right.
Because it just felt like you had someone that was talking to you when you came home. Because it was like school. I would talk to classmates, but it's not like we were friends that would hang out. After.
Yeah, I get that.
And then you'd come home and there's just no one to talk to. Completely quiet, kind of weird.
Right.
So I'd leave streams on in the background to just have some noise of someone talking.
Yeah.
And then I started streaming to like kind of do the reverse, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll make some friends.
Yeah.
And I made tons of friends. So that worked
yeah.
pretty well. Like you guys.
You sound so confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I've played with Connor.
Yeah, we played a few games before.
Yeah. And then I don't think we've ever played, but I've met you a couple times.
Yeah.
And I said hi to you once.
Yep.
And that's
we had like a 2-second interaction.
Yeah.
So
What do you think is like the best game to make friends with?
definitely not Among Us.
That's how you lose friendships.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. But I'm not actually sure. Like probably a teamwork maybe.
Right.
But I think the
Overcooked.
biggest thing is when you play multiple different games.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when it's just someone you just ask to play a random game.
Yeah, I agree.
What was the game for you in your case? Like what was the one that
probably
like really opened the
Minecraft
door?
was the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you guys know OTV, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was friends with Lily. She invited me to the Minecraft server.
Were you friends before streaming or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was actually the one who told me I should try streaming.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Nice.
And then she just invited me to the Minecraft server, met a lot of people there, and that's pretty much how it mostly
Damn.
started.
Because I was going to say, I was like, it seems, I'm sure anyone who's watched this has tried streaming or being a YouTuber. It's like, it's really hard to get that initial kind of growth.
Yeah.
Going from like 1 viewer to 100 is like very hard.
Oh, especially on Twitch. Like where,
yeah,
like,
Twitch is
with
impossible
the
to-
small creators, it's like impossible
Where no
to
one will
find.
ever find you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how did you go from like 1 viewer to 10 or 100? Is it purely from the collabs or?
I really don't know. I just played games with the people that liked playing games with me, and that's
And then it
pretty
just
much.
kinda happened.
I think since I had like a regular job, I never really thought about.
Yeah.
I didn't really care, right? I was just like, this is really just for fun.
Well, did you quit because? Yeah, I've always been curious. Did you quit your job because you were like, okay, I actually really enjoy streaming. This is a job I want to do, or did you just kind of like hate your job and were looking for something new?
Kind of. I mostly just because streaming was more fun.
Yeah.
And just made more sense, and I think I made more money streaming anyway. So
Yeah.
kind of worked out.
Yeah, because I think we all have a similar experience where we went to school, studied for a certain subject, found out we hated the subject, and we're kind of like, let's try content creation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot
I've
more
not
exciting.
not used my mechanical engineering degree.
Oh man.
So, well, one day.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
One day I'll build like a table.
On stream.
IKEA table.
Yeah, I'll build an IKEA table. Then I feel like I'm getting value out of it.
Yeah. For
Good.
sure.
Hearing a story reminds me. Have you seen Bocce the Rock?
That's one of my favorites recently. So I have to.
Of course you'd like it.
I have to confess I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've seen
Okay.
clips, and
Yeah.
I like the clips I've seen.
That's like Bocce, like you are kind of like Bocce's final form, I think. Like the end of like the journey. You know, start off with like a lot of like anxiety and just want to make friends. And look at him now, guys. Look at him now.
He's on Trash Taste now.
Yeah, in Japan. Yeah.
The biggest success I've made being on Trash Taste podcast.
Let's go.
We hear that a lot. We hear that a
Too
lot.
kind.
We hear
Too
that.
kind.
Come up with the name Trash Taste. Is that
So we were kind of brainstorming a lot of different names because we knew we wanted to make a podcast, and we weren't going to let Joey name it because he would name it the Anime Podcast or something,
or the podcast.
Or the podcast.
Don't you have a podcast called the Anime Podcast?
I did, yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot you did.
No, it was the anime.
so that's a real
It was
thing.
the anime show. But to be fair, I wasn't the one that came up with that name.
Okay,
It was the radio
I mean, it
company
fits
that I was
the
doing.
anime guy.
Yeah. So it's like it was. I was doing a radio show in Australia, and they wanted me and my girlfriend to do like an anime themed podcast, and they were like, "Let's just call it the Anime Show." And I was like, "Well, fuck, I don't have any other ideas, so sure, let's do that."
Joey was like, "Well, that was my first suggestion." Actually.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you read my mind.
Yeah.
I think that's good though. I think a lot of people, when you're trying to come up with an idea,
Yeah.
a lot of content creators struggle with they plan too much and
Yeah.
don't actually do it because they're
Yeah.
worried about making it perfect from the start.
Yeah.
I think it's better just do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not great, just do it, and it'll get better over time.
Exactly. So we knew that we wanted to kind of market ourselves as an anime podcast initially, but also we knew we wanted to branch out of anime. So we wanted something that was like,
Wow, you thought about this.
yeah.
We planned it out.
Yeah. I mean,
it
like,
out.
I mean, I learned my lesson, especially because
Yeah.
it's like calling myself the anime man. I was like, I basically just pigeonholed myself.
So
into that
instead,
kind
you
of
called
content.
yourself Trash.
Yes.
Taste.
Yeah.
We are Trash Taste.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
it was one of 3 names that we narrowed it down to. One was Trash Taste, one was Men of Culture, and
Such a terrible
The Salt
name.
Room.
I'm glad you didn't go with that one.
Yeah.
For some reason,
and the last one was the Salt Room.
All terrible names.
Oh yeah.
you know, Trash Taste sounds really nice. It sounds better than before all of a sudden.
Yeah. When you compare it to the other options,
Yeah.
I'm liking it even more.
Yeah, so we ended up with Trash Taste. Because we've all been creating content for quite a long time. So we had learnt, some people, they just go with their first username that comes up with that they come up with.
Joe
Joe went with the anime.
I went with
man.
Sykkuno. I've had it since I was like 10 years old.
It's a good name.
I was gonna ask you, like, where did that name come from?
I just made it up when I was like 10 years old, thought it sounded cool, and it still does, I think.
It's
man,
pretty sick name.
why, dude?
I think I was smarter when I was 10 than right now. I feel like I was more creative.
How
or
do you
something.
have a better sense at naming shit at 10 years old than I do at age 28?
You know,
I have no clue, but I don't think I could do it again.
my first username was DonkeyMan5, but I spelled donkey incorrectly, and it didn't have a Y at the end because I didn't know how to spell
So
it.
it's
a
Donkey
guy-
Man.
It was donkey.
There's a guy who spelled donkey incorrectly, and he's pretty cool, I've heard.
Really?
His name's Donkey.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that too. Yeah. Well,
See his videos, hilarious guy.
why did I take 5 though? Why men 5? Like I surely just Donkey Man was. I don't fucking know. But luckily I didn't stick with that
Now
name.
people are randomly gonna call you Donkey Man.
They'll probably call me that now.
It would have
Donkey
been,
Man
it would have been a
5.
really different podcast if it was the Anime Man Gig and Donkey Man 5.
That would have been fun. But now
And so I
it's-
chose Sea Dog, which isn't that much better. But at least
Sea
there's
Dog,
no
Virginia,
At least there's no fucking weird name number in it.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't make any
I
sense.
kind of
Oh,
lucked out.
numbers are always bad, I think.
I feel numbers are so
numbers
bad.
always bad. Yeah. I kind of lucked out with my username. People think, oh, it's such a cool name and such a unique name, and luckily it was just like a family nickname that I had growing up, and it was my very first account, which was a Hotmail account. That's showing my age right now.
Dude, your mum came in clutch with that.
Yeah, my
one,
mum
dude,
came in
like-
clutch. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Mum.
that'd be nice to inherit usernames. Actually, we should start that. Like
Well,
your
you
kid
mean
has
give it
to,
to your kid?
your kid has to inherit your username online.
Sounds crazy.
No, that sounds great because then we'll get like in like.
what if your kid's not as cool as you are? And
My
then
name
they'll
is
just
not cool.
Constantly be shamed for it. You're a pretty cool guy.
No, I'm not.
He's a cool guy. He's actually a cool guy.
We could take it so that like after like 5 generations, it'll start sounding all really fucking weird and fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like, so son, no matter what you do, your nickname will be Boris McSweaty. That's just the username you
Yeah,
have
because
to
then
live
like
with.
cursed names will be fun. Like this should be like a thing, like a government rule.
Yeah.
That all usernames
sounds
have to
great.
be.
Usernames should have second names as well, like surnames. Like, oh yeah, I'm from the Giguk bloodline, actually.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we should have it. So like,
What about those guys whose usernames are like XX Naruto 420? Like,
that's great.
That's
the greatest.
Imagine it. You're signing. You go to the doctor. Like, yeah, sorry. Is XX Naruto? Yeah. Yes.
XX Naruto.
Two people with their hands up. Like what?
It's like, wait, you too? It's like, no, the one with the 69 in his back.
Yeah, it's like a Narusasu 69. Do we have anyone here?
It's like, is that with or without an underscore?
I think I've had a bunch of different shitty names because I could never decide on one I like. I think one of them was Xbox Best CMC as well.
Were you one of those dudes who would fight the PS5 and Xbox and be like, this one's better?
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Connor was definitely
It
that
sounds like
toxic.
you
I was like a super toxic gamer. I was that annoying like 14-year-olds you hear on like Xbox way back.
Oh, God.
Squeaker.
Not a squeaky because I had a
You
deep
seem
voice.
competitive.
Oh,
I feel like
super
you're
competitive.
In the
Super
few
competitive.
times we've played, I feel like you are a competitive.
Yeah, very much so.
What was it that I think I saw Ludwig beat Jump King?
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm beating Jump King now.
Yeah, I beat all the Jump Kings that he beat.
Yeah, Connor
So I
will
was
not
like,
get
fuck it.
invested in the game unless it's competitive.
Unless he's beating someone.
yeah, unless he's
Yeah,
beating
yeah.
someone.
And
yeah.
you'll just admit to that. You'll be like, I did it
100%.
to beat Ludwig.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't take
Did you
the L
beat him?
lying down.
Did you beat his like time or I don't know?
I think his first attempt, but he's definitely done better runs, which I should
His
be.
tone of
at some
voice
point.
changed a little when he talked about the competitive. Like,
yeah.
He's like, well, I think he did a little better.
He definitely is still better than me at it. I got to get better though, but I did some of the maps quicker than him.
Okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, me and Joey are just single player games, which is probably why we haven't played anything together yet.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, I'm
Elden
addicted.
Ring, have you played that?
No.
There's a new expansion I've heard.
Is it
I'm
competitive?
excited. I don't. There was the PvP one. I didn't play that personally.
Yeah.
Elden Ring sucks in PvP. It's boring.
Well, you do that cheese strat where you roll around in the spikes.
Yeah.
I heard it got patched though.
Oh,
but-
yeah. It's just over so quick, and it's kind of like I imagine how it feels like a duel in real life.
Yeah.
Where it's like you just get shot,
swiping
and you're like,
and
oh,
dying.
well, this
build
is.
up and then it ends in a split second.
Yeah. You're kind of like, well, that's not fun.
Yeah.
But then I just watch occasional YouTube videos where someone owns someone with a 10,000 gigabrain strat, and then you're like, okay, that's fun. But
Makes her a funny video. And
but how many times did it take you to get this to work? Like this probably took like thousands of
they
attempts.
recorded for like 10 hours.
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
30-second clip.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna play Elden Ring sometime. I'm that kind of guy.
No,
who,
you're not.
That's code.
No, you're
It's
not.
a good
okay,
game.
I'll
Didn't
just
it win
like-
Game of the Year?
It did
Game
win.
of the
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm that guy who. Whatever,
You're that guy.
Yeah, no.
You're that guy.
I am
You're
that guy.
that guy.
But I'm that guy who I just only watch or play things when I feel like it. One day, I know this this has happened plenty of times with like different anime or different movies where it's always been on my to watch list.
I have wait, you haven't watched it either?
you haven't watched it yet?
I haven't watched. Like,
Bro,
I kind of know what
yes!
happens because it's such a big show. Right?
Oh yeah, I feel like I could recite like
All right,
70.
so we'll watch it together,
yeah,
which means we still won't have to watch it.
yeah.
Or maybe I don't know.
He's never gonna watch. He's never
Oh,
Yeah, probably neither will I, which is
Yeah.
why now we can just blame each other.
Exactly. I'll be like, well, Sykkuno
I
hasn't
promised
watched
to
it yet.
I promised to watch it with Giga here, and we just haven't
Connor's
gotten
a
around
freak.
to it. We can just use each other. If anyone's like, "Why haven't you watched? It's one of the greatest," I'll be like, "I promised to watch it with a friend, and we just
Our
haven't
schedules
gotten around.
aren't just
Yeah,
matching
yeah.
up.
He's from Japan, and time zones. Now we both have a good excuse. So.
Yeah, okay, I'm saying this now. I'll watch Full Metal Alchemist when Sykkuno watches it.
Same.
with me. All right.
And I'm leaving Japan in a few days. So
Yeah, but like I'll just wake up one day sometimes and I will just be like, feel like playing or watching this random movie or game that I haven't like heard of or remembered from like years ago, and I'll just like marathon it all in one day.
that is exactly what I do sometimes too.
Yeah. And like I just sometimes I get so hyped for a game that by the time it comes out, I'm just not hyped for it anymore. Like
Oh yeah, I hate when
Hype
the trailer
fatigue?
comes out.
yeah,
too.
hype fatigue.
It
Yeah,
happens.
that
I'm
happens
the
so many
same.
times.
I'm
Yeah,
the same.
like it happened with Cyberpunk. I was so fucking hyped for Cyberpunk. Then obviously it came out even before like the whole controversy with the bugs
Yeah.
or stuff. I just I was just like, well, I'm done. I was like, I got my hype.
It's been too long.
And then I didn't even play it, and I'm like, okay, don't feel like playing it. And then everything came out. And then one day I just woke up like a month ago, and I was like, I feel like playing Cyberpunk now. And I just
After
like,
watching the anime.
actually, yes, after watching the anime, that
Anime was
it.
good. It
Yeah,
was good. I liked it.
I watched the anime. I was like, I felt like playing Cyberpunk now, and marathoned it all in a week. And I was like, yeah, had a good time. I'm glad I waited for all the bugs to get fixed.
Yeah.
No, that was part of the fun.
What?
Was it?
Yeah, 'cause it was all broken and shit, and it was all funny.
You must have liked Skyrim or something.
Yeah.
I have never played Skyrim. I'm more of a competitive gamer. I normally like
Did you like
competitive games.
Cyberpunk?
No, it was terrible, but it was funny when it broke.
Yeah.
So you didn't like the game. You liked that it was funny.
I'm
when it
kind of glad that it did have a lot of bugs because it made it more bearable. Because at least
Well,
it
you
would, like,
enjoyed it
laugh.
because you were streaming
the
it, right?
bugs made it more bearable.
Well, because it was like you'd be
He
doing
hated
this
it. He
shit
hated it.
mission where you're just shooting a guy for 10 minutes and then he'd stop
I did
floating.
hear there were bullet sponges. That was a thing. I
Yeah.
heard.
There's so many bullet sponges, so many.
I was in there for the world and the characters and the story, and
It looked
two
it
different
looked cool.
gamers.
You're the 1%.
I mean, it looked cool. Like aesthetically, looked.
Yeah,
cool.
I think Cyberpunk is, as a non-gamer here, I think 2077 is highly underrated. I think CD Projekt Red did a fucking fantastic
Prefaces
job
with-
building this
As a
world.
non-gamer.
Yeah, as a non-gamer here, as the non-gamer. Like, I think unfortunately the best content in Cyberpunk 2077 is the side missions. I think the main story was a bit cliche a lot of the times, but there were some really fucking interesting side missions, which Connor all skipped, so he didn't get the best
Yeah.
I
content.
didn't do any of the side missions. I just, cause
the
I wanted
bugs.
to be done.
There are two types of games.
Oh man.
I mean, you mainly play competitive games those as well, right?
Yeah, like Valorant or something like that. Yeah.
You're very competitive. You pretend not to be, but you definitely are. I can tell. I can sense it. It's like an aura.
Kind of, but the
He's just like me for real.
I know. I know when
my
someone's competitive.
competition's sort of different. Like I don't
Okay.
try to be good because I want to win.
Okay.
I want to do weird stuff. So like a lot of people see like in Valorant is a good example. I try to get good enough where I can do silly plays that look funny.
Right.
Like knifing people is
Right,
the thing
right.
you do. Like it's just not a thing you normally do.
Yeah.
I try to do it because it's funny.
Right.
So I waste a lot of time trying to figure out how to do that better.
Yeah.
It's not good at ranking up. It's not good for winning, but it's good at making good clips. There's a time where I played against like a pro player. I knifed him like multiple times and he was losing it. It was really, really funny. So I'm competitive in the sense where I want to be good enough to do funny things, but I'm
Yeah.
not competitive because I want to win the thing.
Right.
I feel like it was after the Among Us era where even people who didn't say they were competitive, they started to get like a competitive side to them. Because I kind of missed the whole, I didn't miss the Among Us craze. I was very, very late to it. And I played my first game like a month after the craze started or something. And I remember by the time I had started my first game, everyone had like min-maxed everything.
Yeah.
They were like,
No,
okay,
that
well,
definitely
where were you? What room were you
Yeah.
in? What
Yeah,
challenges were you doing? And I was like, I was, what?
I'm like, bro, I haven't even learned the map.
I think I played one
like,
game with Toast, and Toast had just memorized literally everything in
Yeah.
existence, and I
No,
was
that-
like, "Well, this fucking sucks."
That happened in our group a lot.
Yeah.
I had to do
Yeah.
a lot of mods, a lot of weird stuff to spruce it up, which
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
it fun, but definitely to
Yeah.
some extent we were just like, we've done everything there was to have been
Yeah,
done.
yeah. I had another friend who lost it because I voted him out because he was being sweaty, and even
Oh,
though I knew
man.
he
Yeah,
wasn't the
there's-
imposter.
yeah.
And he lost it. He went like full like light, like at the end of Death Note speech. Connor, you idiot! What are you doing? I'm not the imposter. I'm not sus. And then he was like going. I was like, well, I just kind of made the game less fun. So bye bye.
Oh my god, that is probably the biggest insult you could give someone, but